Happy Wednesday. So today I'm going to go, wait for Cheryl to hop in. We're going to be talking a little bit about her land business. Should be really fun. So I always love talking to other people. There she is. So she's got in here. So I'll bring her on. And then I just wanted to show you before we get started. I want to show you guys, we did the letter last week with Kay. So I just want to show you guys the final of that. She wrapped it up for me. So let me share that. And then I'll bring Cheryl on. Share screen, entire screen. Boom. Here we go. Okay. So here's the final letter. Kay is awesome. If you guys don't know Kay, she's absolutely amazing. Go watch all our videos together. She's awesome. So this is basically the letter that she helped put together with me. So you guys could see this is my big thing. No middleman, no wholesalers, no signings. I don't do that. I buy properties. I'm not double closing them. So I could say that. If you're double closing, it's fine. You just can't say that. So that's all. So this is the whole letter. This is everything we do. What's great about this is she really, kind of tweaked it to my personality, but also put hers on here. Guys, don't copy this verbatim. It's not going to do any good to you if you copy somebody's letter verbatim, because then everybody just has the same letter, and that's just stupid. So don't do that. Go make your own. This is you have to put your own flair on it. But it looks really great. I honestly love this. I'm super stoked to use it. So I got to just tweak a couple things, obviously logos, things like that. We have, frequently asked questions. This is some back and forth if I'm going to include anymore. I do like it, but there's a lot of different things. Sometimes people kind of get scammed away. This big one, are you a scam? We get asked this question a lot, and people actually love that we put this on there. But then I'm curious if some people are if they're even bringing this up, then they probably are a scam, right? So that's why I'm oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. So a couple things, but I really love this. This thing is awesome. I can't wait to see what ROI we get with this. So very, very excited. So I'm going to bring Cheryl on now. Hey, what's going on? So what's up? What do you got going on? I know we've met a couple times, but tell me about your land business and what you're doing and why you got into this and how you're getting into this and all that.
So I come from different types of real estate. I've owned commercial property, I've owned residential property, Airbnbs, fix and flips, renovations, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Did that for a while.
Same here.
Then from there, held on to a bunch of stuff through COVID. After COVID, started building stuff, and then got tired of dealing with people. The whole Airbnb rentals, fix my toilet thing. And then from there, somebody recommended a land course, went through a whole other program for a year, and had good success.
It's good.
Certainly my first year was good. And then somehow I actually stumbled across Land Insights and Ari, and then I kind of took a pivot now in the LIA community and trying to figure it out. Watching, I always try and get to your sales calls, but Thursday nights just are very tough for me.
Yeah.
So the timing isn't great, but I value everything that you have said. And at some point you're like, oh, if somebody wants to come in, I volunteered myself. I've never done.
I love this. Yeah.
Yeah, never done a live call, so I'm very nervous, but I'm excited to gain some insight from you.
Yeah. No, I love this. I love that you're out here and doing the hard things, or the hard, that's what's going to make you move forward. Right. So it's good. If you're nervous about doing this, it's hard, then just do it. Then just say,
I'm nervous.
Right. Yeah. Don't worry about this. We're just hanging out here. No, what I love about this stuff is my Thursday calls are great because they're more of we do sales, but it's more of just also a session that we could just talk and just hey, let's talk about our business. What's going on that you got? How can we spin this to sales? How can we help you improve it? And that's what I love about that call, because while we do focus on the sales, that is definitely the main thing, but we kind of we rip and we just have our thing and we just go about it. So I love those calls.
Yeah. And then I think they provide a lot of value, and I love the series with Kay, and I've watched, I think obviously she's a rock star. So I really enjoyed that series with the letter.
Yeah. Yeah, she's awesome. I love working, like, doing calls with her. Um, it's just great because she started a year ago and she's like crushing it already. She's
Yeah.
got, everything set up. She's just a wizard at it. And it's just because she comes from a different background and ran a
Right.
different business already. So it's so easy to parlay that right in. That's kind of like what happened with me. I'm addicted to business. I can't stop myself. I'm wearing another business hat because I'm going to a walkthrough after this call. I love it. It's what I love doing. I love starting businesses and getting them running and operational and then turning it off and letting a manager run it. That's like my thing. Right. So, yeah.
That's what I'm working on, is trying to get all my systems up and running. But it's been fun. It's a big learning curve, I
Yeah.
think, the LIA program and the pricing and the blind offers. So struggling a little bit with that.
Mhm.
The rest of it seems easy though.
It's easy. It's not that it's easy. It's that you have to be consistent. And that's
Right.
the biggest thing. And know that there's going to be hard things that come up, but like, as long as you push through them, you're going to be fine. A lot of people can't handle that and they kind of they quit. It sucks. It's like people are always like right at the cusp of making money or doing something and then they leave. And it's like, you just learned it.
I think it's also hard because if you don't have the background and you don't have the people to go to and you don't have the community to ask the questions
Community.
to,
Community. Yep.
and it's really finding the community. And so I'm working my way into the community. I am,
Mhm.
so coming, like I said, coming on this call, and I've started speaking to some of the people in Discord, and I'm just trying to get my feelers out
Yep.
and find my people.
Yes.
And
I recommend this to everybody. And, this is something that I told everybody a while ago. Find like 3 to 5 people
right,
that you vibe with, that you get along with, and do a weekly, bi-weekly accountability call. Just go, hop on a Zoom, hour, shoot the shit. Hey, what deals are you working on? What are you struggling with? Whatever. Like, it's good because you're all on the same level playing field.
right,
So it's not like you're talking to somebody that's like, oh, I'm doing, 6 figures a month. How do I get to 7? And it's like, that doesn't compute to where you're at right now. Right.
right. No,
So, yeah. So it's like, okay, well, I just want to get to my next deal. Right. So if you want to be in a room that's kind of like the same type of people, positive energy, get to my next deal, let's make some money, all that stuff, start doing that. And then all of a sudden you just start seeing like, well, this person's growing. I'm growing. Everybody's growing up there. We all move up together. Right. So it really helps. So I suggest everybody find like 3 to 5 people, hop on a once a week or once a month call, once every whatever, just something, and just talk. You know,
yeah, I have that from my old community. The group of us have really kept in touch with each other,
yeah,
and I'm starting, like I said, I'm starting to make my way out. I think, and especially in this community, the smaller calls
mhm,
are better, where you really get to have a conversation with people and back and forth. So I'm just, I know there's some new calls, and I'm trying to navigate my way around the system and
yeah,
watch all these mini series, and just learn from people that are
yeah,
willing to talk to me. And I'm so excited.
yeah. One thing I do suggest: don't just absorb content, because if you just sit there and absorb content all day, you start to get shiny object syndrome. One, because you hear somebody's doing this, somebody's doing that, and that pulls away from what you were doing, and then you start deviating, and then you never find success like at a high level because you start deviating. There's a time that you could go do that stuff. It's still going to be there 6 months, a year, 2 years from now, right? So it's like okay to wait on that stuff. Like write it down. Like, hey, I want to do subdivides. I want to do
Right.
entitlements, all that stuff. But like, you don't have to do it today. Do it later. Let's get one funnel working so freaking well that it's impossible to fail. And then let's just turn on a faucet for the next funnel. And that could be like one stream of marketing. How can I tune that in so perfect that it's working and crushing? And I know this is exactly how we do our acquisitions. This is exactly how we do our this. Once you could do that, then it's like, okay, now it's time for me to add texting in. Now it's time for me to add in whatever the case may be. What's your main thing right now?
Well, originally, again, I come from the world of neutral letters. So I've done a tremendous amount of neutral letters. And the reason why I was so interested in, I guess, Land Insights was the data and the information. So
Yeah.
now I'm just trying to figure out how to send out, how to do the pricing on the blind offers.
Mhm.
And so June was my first set of sending out blind offers. So I really don't
Mhm.
have great numbers. I mean, I got some responses and turned out I overpriced the market, and now I got to figure out
Happens. Yeah.
how to fix that, because I have somebody who's really interested in selling and I'm way
Yeah.
over. Um,
Yeah.
so that sucks.
Does.
Yeah.
Does. So little things like little tips you could do is I think I've shared this with you before, but I'll say it again for everybody. Is I always like before I'm like sending a list out doing anything, I randomly select like 20 properties and as if they're a lead coming in my CRM and I comp them. I'm like, I got randomly different size acreage bands, whatever. I'll grab like 5 or 6 from like the 5 to 10s, a couple from the 10 to 20s, a couple from the next whatever, and I just randomly select them, take them out, comp it as if it's a lead, right? And then I look at that and I'm like, if this lead came in, would this be a lead that I could purchase, right? Based on the comps, based on everything, right? And if it's not, go back to the drawing board, reprice it.
Yeah. This one was kind of a unique situation because I comped, it was 10 acres, and I it was very wrong. But when the guy called, apparently I didn't pick up that he had two properties. So there was a 15-acre property adjacent to it. So it's actually 25 acres instead of 10 acres.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm just a little bit high, not double high,
Okay.
because it's 25 acres and I comp 10 acres wrong. And now it's 25 acres and it's still wrong, but it's not as bad.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
I still have to go back and have that conversation, which is an uncomfortable conversation for me, to say my offer was too high, and I don't know the best way to approach those calls. It's like,
Okay.
it's
So
not me, it's not you, it's me.
yeah. Okay. So it's 25 acres. Is it single lot or two lots? What is it?
It's it's two lots, but there's a third lot. It's one parcel that's broken up by a road, so there's three APNs.
Oh, cool.
But that second APN is part of the first APN. And then the one lot that I didn't even know about, which is 15 acres, has a double wide on it. Um, Lots of road frontage. I mean, it seems like it's good property. Except I think, to make it a deal, I need to go down 10, 20, $30,000. I mean, I'm wrong.
Overall, like $20,000-$30,000 over 25 acres.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, it's not the
I'm
major.
like a couple. I think I'm $2,000 over an acre over. So 10, 25, like
Okay.
30,000, something like that. I'm over. I'm
Okay.
embarrassed.
No, that I've mispriced markets way higher than that, so don't worry about that. I think actually Sumner he mispriced the market one time of like a huge mailer where they didn't put per acre. No, they put instead they put the offer price for the total acreage. They put it per acre. So
Ugh.
this guy was like, "You're offering me like $10 million for my place. Are you sure?" And he's like, "No, no, that's not true at all." So like it totally happens. Everybody does it. I've personally, man, I probably like spent last year. I probably sent like 50,000 letters that were completely way off, and that just happens.
So what
And
do you do?
you just kind of eat it, and it's like it sucks, and like that's what happens, and you try to negotiate. I use them as like my training ground, right? So I mispriced the property. Okay, no problem. Hey, look, I'm honestly, I talked to the seller and just say, hey, look, honestly, I'll tell you the truth. I fucked up on this one, or I messed up on this one, whatever you want to say. Like I looked at this property, I was a little high, honestly. You know, I'm looking at what I could do with it. I'm looking at um, land values in the area, what investors are paying, and to be honest with you, I'm off. I'm off my mark. So I'm still willing to move forward. It's just got to be at a lower price, to be honest with you. And, just be quiet, let them kind of talk. And once they say, well, how much lower? And that's when you kind of want to say, like, look, honestly, it's like, if you have to be like 1,500 less, I would go a little bit more. I'd be like, I got to be like $2,500 to $2,000 an acre less. That's kind of where I need to be for it to make sense for me as an investment. And they'll probably say no and whatever and this and that, and say, like, at the end of the day, like, I know you're interested in selling, right? What number do you need to be at for it to make sense? And I'll see if I could get to it. Maybe we could split the difference and come in at like 1,500 an acre difference.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
he said to me, he goes, well, I got your offer. He said, it's going to go to a realtor, but then I got your offer. And he said, well, it is a little lower than we wanted, but since you're offering a quick close, I figured I'd go to you instead of the realtor. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Great. And then I started looking at it. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like,
but did you comp it as a 25 acre or did you comp it as 10 acre?
10. I was way off. I mean, I don't know what happened, but it was so off. And then before I make a call, I tend to look at the property. At least I know what I'm talking about when I call them.
100%. Yep.
So I called the guy, I looked at the comp, and I text my VA and I said, what's the pricing on this? I said, are we so off on this? And I actually could not find it. Something wasn't lining up. I called Rocket Print. I went to my guy there. I'm like, I need my list. I need to see this. And we were off. But then the guy was really nice. He's like, yeah, and the other lot is 15 acres. So he was thinking I was comping the whole thing. So
did you tell him that?
I didn't.
So you're in the money.
I didn't tell him. I didn't tell him that. I just assumed that he assumed that I was doing the whole thing, but I had only done it for 10 acres. So there's another 15 acres. So that's what I'm saying. Now I'm only a little bit over. So
okay. So you were like I was stars.
He was retiring with my money.
So now that it's 15 acres, now you're like, okay, now I've come back down, and I'm still in the sky, but I'm not in the stars.
It's a little bit, it's enough. And actually, I wanted to actually have this call before I called him back because I figured he could offer some great insights on what to say to him. Yeah,
I mean, all right, so okay, so that's not as bad, right? What are the numbers? Like, where do you need to be at? What does it sell for? What's it a buy for? What's it a sell for?
So I don't know, because I don't know how to comp it anymore, because I have to comp it now as a 25 acre instead of a 10 acre.
No, you're going to comp it as two separate lots because it's split by the road. If it has separate APNs,
there's 3 lots. See, that's what I'm not sure about. So
yeah, if they all have road frontage and separate APNs, you're technically buying 3 lots. So you would comp them individually. And then you're giving him a price for all 3 lots, technically.
So actually, let me ask you, because I think that one lot that's separated by the road, the way it's set up is he put one of the properties in a trust and the other 2 aren't in the trust, but he's going to put them in in the trust, and he has to take it out. But it's strange that there's that third APN, and I think that maybe at one point that third APN was separate, but now it's together. Does that make sense? Or it was together and now it's separate?
Could be.
Because he's including that small piece. So it's there's 10 acres and there's 15, and out of the 15 there's 12 and 3. So that there's just the 3 parcel across the street. But I think he's including that in the 15 acres.
Okay. So
I don't know. Can we comp it live, or is that not?
Yeah. No, I can comp it live. I won't share any information here if you don't want to do that. Well, I don't think we should do that anyways because people are on YouTube.
Can we comp it privately?
Yeah. Well, I'll comp it on. I just won't share my screen. So if you want, send me. You can send me. There's a private chat on the right-hand side. Do you see that?
Yep.
Send in the private chat. Just send me the APN or local address, and I could comp it real quick. And then I'll walk you through it, and just send me the county and APN.
Yep.
And then I'll comp it, and then I'll give you some tips on like how to deal with it. Because I don't comp this. If it's 25 acres and it's 3 separate parcels, like they have separate parcel numbers or they're divided by a road and everything like that, I'm going to comp them as separate properties. If it was one single, like APN, that's
Yeah.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love North Carolina. Good. Okay, so let's go here. Let's go. So let me look it up first.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he's super nice guy.
yeah. Have you talked to a realtor? Do you have a realtor yet?
I don't have a realtor there at the moment.
Do you know Kay Walker?
I I actually it's interesting because I don't does she act as a realtor like
Yeah.
also?
Yeah,
Is
and
she somebody that would
I think this is their area too.
I would like to talk to her and pick her brain, and I would love to use her as a realtor because I think she's just a quality human being.
She is, truly is. So I'm seeing, okay, so I got owner. What is his name? Let's see. Okay, I got it. That's perfect. So yeah, it's showing me a bunch of APNs. Okay, so you got, I did a couple deals in this area. That's funny.
Right.
I actually think I did a deal right down the street from here.
So you can see there's two next to each other. There's one a little plot across the street.
Yep. I sold on the Thompson Road right around the corner. That's so funny. Literally down the street. Okay.
Did it sell quick? Is there any value in that? I mean,
yeah, no. So Rutherfordton is like, it's a good area. There's just like, you have to make sure it's not like, which this one looks fine. Topography's fine. Mine sucked because topography went like this. So I had a partial split on left and right of the road, and it went like that. It was like a V. So both went downhill.
yeah, the little property I think goes down the hill. One, I mean, he has, I think it's called a double wide, or he has, they live on. So that one obviously has a driveway. It's surrounded by apparently all sorts of protected land, or some guy who does, but
forestry, plantation. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So, all right. So going by this, you got this. So this one is a 10-acre address. Is that the actual address? Let me see. That sold for like $11K an acre. What do you price that? Where
I think I priced it. I think I offered him like 12,000 an acre.
12,000 an acre. Okay, that's
yeah, that way off. Oh yeah.
Well, 12,000 an acre for 10 acres though, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're offering.
But I think I offered him, yeah, but I didn't comp it. I mean, I think my comp is off.
You offered him 120, right? And you got 25 acres. 25 acres.
No, I think I offered him like 159. I'm gonna find it.
You're still good. This thing is worth like, yeah, it's worth like 250.
Really?
If it's worth 10K an acre, yeah, 100%.
So I offered him. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, now I don't feel so bad. See,
no, I think you're good. I think honestly, I'll run some better comping right now. Let me see.
I offered him, I think, I offered him 156.
I think you're fine.
For 10 acres, but obviously it's 25.
Right. Let's just look at the 5 to 10. I'll look 520s right here. So let me see. Let me go land filters.
So I thought it was selling at like 7,000 an acre.
Well, right down the street was 10.6. Literally down the street. 11.61. 11.6. That one's got a double wide on it. That's sold for 11.6.
So does him having a double wide and having like, does that add value to the land? Because it's all set up, it's ready to go.
100%. Is it livable?
He's living in it.
Yes, it's worth a house. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. That's worth more money alone. You might even be able to sell that one alone for more.
That's interesting.
Yeah, 100%. So this right here, this one's got embrace nature, landscape, no so much trees, old cabin. That has a cabin. This one has a cabin on it, sold for almost 10K an acre, 11K an acre, and that's right down the street. And then you got this one right here has an RV on it, not a full thing, sold for 254,
And are
29,000
you on
an acre.
Redfin or what are you looking at?
I'm looking on Redfin right now.
You're in Redfin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Land Insights and Redfin, but Land Insights just show me. Yeah, I got 5,200 an acre for that doesn't look the same type of property at all. This is a timber property.
Right. He said that there's good timber on it. He also said the one that he lives on, I guess there's also a shed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're honestly I think you're probably fine. If for 159, I think it's like a 250 all day, easily. You might
Really?
be able to sell the 10K for 150 alone. The 10K with the mobile home.
Really?
Yeah, I don't see that. I mean, I'm looking at the comps. It looks fine to me.
Well, that's reassuring.
Yeah, I think you're good. So that's showing it as a 10-acre lot. It's not showing any improvements on it. Let me check this one.
But that third one that only that's the 3 acres. That's the across. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah. So you got to see, because if they're the same APN,
I think they're separate. I think it has its own separate APN. If you click on it, and you look at the names, so one is in a trust.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, and I think maybe it's the one he lives on. Like there's something weird.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm using the comp tool, I see it as like not that good. But I'm looking at.
So you comped it separately as you comped a 10 acre and then you comped a 15 acre.
Yeah.
Not a 25.
Yeah, no, because it's not a 25. They're two separate parcels. You could sell them together if you wanted, but I would comp them separately. They have different APNs. They're separate properties. It's like you're buying a subdivide, essentially. That's
interesting.
Yeah, okay. There's no reason. Why would you, just because you're buying it in one shot does not mean you have to comp it as one big property. No, absolutely. It's 3 separate properties.
3 separate properties.
Technically, if it's 3 separate APNs, then 100% it's 3 separate properties. So let me look at this one. If this is the... Let me check. Let me check the 3 acres in the area. So I usually go smaller, 2 to 5. And then I would just get a realtor to look at this and walk it. But I really don't think you're bad at, if you're at 156, I think you're good. I would just maybe push to get to like 145, right?
145.
Yeah, so 145 will push you at what? Let's see, 145. 145 divided by 25 acres. That's 5,800 an acre. And I'm seeing comps at like 10K an acre. So you're good. If you bring this to a lender and you have a 100K spread, they're going to fund it, like without a shadow of a doubt. It doesn't have to be like direct 50%. If it's a deal, it's a deal. If you have a 100K spread, great. The thing is, that's like the 50% thing is like, if it's $15,000 and the property's worth $30,000, like there's not a big spread there. But when you get in the 150s to 250s, that's a huge spread. There's enough room for everybody to make money. Like everybody's good. So
interesting. Okay.
Take that into account when you're like making these types of offers. And like, I'm not at 50%. It doesn't have to be at 50%. But I would refer to a realtor and just be like, hey, what do you think this is worth? And just ask. I think it's definitely there. I mean, I'm seeing even like a 4.5 acre property. This sold for 15K an acre. For a little 3 acre property right here, this sold for 10K an acre, 12K an acre. Yeah, 156 all day. So if you got 3 at 12K an acre, plus say you got 15 at let's do 3 times 12,000. That's 36. And then you got 15 times, let's do 9,000. It's 135. And then you got 10. I'm going to do 11,000 for the 10 because it's got the mobile home on it.
Right.
Plus. It's like 245. Oh, I'm sorry. Plus 281, if those numbers are right. And that's just local comps.
Okay, so there's plenty of room on there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would get a realtor on it and have them look at it. Even before you get, I mean.
So should I told the guy I'd call him back this week.
Okay.
So should I call him back before I speak to a realtor, or what should I do?
I mean, it's good to just maybe touch base and just say, hey, I just noticed, the only thing I got to just look at is one thing is like, I noticed there's 3 separate APNs. So just give me another day. Let me look at the APNs because I'm just getting a sense of it. Is the 3 acre separate or something like that? I would just kind of like just buy yourself a couple days with that. And I'm sure he'll be like, yeah, no problem. It's just say it's a little confusing because of the trust. I'm trying to comp everything, but I'm looking at this and it looks like the way the road divided it, it's almost like 3 separate parcels. So I just want to make sure I'm good with everything before I, give you a final. So just give me like a day and then whatever. And then I would call every realtor you possibly can, get a good one. And then I would ask them like, hey, look, I need you to give me a quick CMA on this. Like, can you crank it out like ASAP? And see what they do. I mean, I don't think you're in the wrong here. I think you're probably in a good spot, to be honest with you. I would just check with them. But yeah, this literally sold right down the street. Little crappy lot. Sold for, was this 4 acres? No, 3 acres. Sold for 38K, 28K. So that's
really,
yeah, it's 10K an acre. A little 3 acre lot. That's right down the street, and that was a more sloped lot.
So the other question I guess I have is, so I've never worked with a funder before.
Okay.
I've always done like double closes or self-funded. So this is, so somebody, I assume I wouldn't double close on this. I would close on it and then sell it.
Yeah. Buy and sell. Yeah. That's what I do. I buy and then sell. I take ownership, I own it, and then I sell it.
And then what's your average time that between when you close and you normally sell?
So it depends on the market, but like it's usually like less than 90 days around that. That's what I go for.
So you're able to flip them really quick.
Yeah, because I'm looking for markets that are moving fast. Now don't get me wrong. There's lots that I buy that sometimes I think they're going to sell in 90 days. And I just sold one. I'm filling out paperwork today for a lot that I've owned for 1.5 years.
That's
right? And
I'm doing that today. I have that same situation.
Hey,
I bought
Let's
it.
Go.
And today, finally, I took any offer. I was just like, oh my God, I just don't want to have to pay the tax. Like I'm done with it. It's worthless. It's just, I don't want it. And today I actually put the papers in the mail.
Yep. I'm going to do that right after this.
It's done, so that's why I hesitate because of this property to hold. So everything I've done has been, within a short period of time.
So that's the thing too. You have to remember JV funding. Are you using JV funders? Okay. JV funder. If
I haven't used any funders, I've only used myself.
Right. Well, I'm saying if you're going to use a JV funder for this deal, a JV funder assumes the risk, right? Because what happens is they take the deal, you assign it to them. They actually close under their name and you're getting a percentage of the deal. So you do all the work, get the deal into contract, then they fund it. They get a chunk of the money. Now your goal is to move it fast so that you pay them less, right? Because they'll take, like, depending on the JV funder, 20 or 30% within the first 60 days. Okay. And then it goes up to the next level, next level, next level. But let's say a year goes and it doesn't sell, they would take ownership of the property. But you don't have to worry about it then. They own it. So that's the positive of a JV funder.
What do they typically charge?
Anywhere between 20% to start and then upwards to 50% as you go. So that's kind of like feel the different people out. But there's also hard money too, if you want it. Hard money's not bad. People are scared of it because they're like, oh, it's such a high interest. But if you think about this, if you get a deal and you could move it in 6 months, even if you're paying 15% interest, let's just say, and you're not going to pay that, you're going to pay 12. Even if you're paying 15% interest, you still moved it for 7.5% interest on the money you borrow, not on the profit. Okay, so 7.5% interest on 160K. Let's say you borrow 150. So 150,000 times 0.075, you're paying $11,250 to borrow that 150K, right? If you move it in 6 months. If you move it in 12 months, you pay $22,000. Now, a JV funder is going to take, let's say you have a $100,000 spread and you move it in 60 days, they're going to take $30,000.
So JV funding takes a percentage of the.
They take a percentage of the profit.
Interesting.
Yes. So if you have a $100,000 spread, they'll take 20 to 30%, up to like sometimes 50%. Or if it goes over a certain threshold, they take ownership of the property. So that's the thing with JV funding is that. Now, if you were to go ahead and just get hard money is the only negative with hard money is you got to put your own money in on like 20% of the deal. So you might have to put like a down payment of like 10 or 20%. So if it's 156K, you're talking, you got to put 30 grand down, right? And then they cover 80%. But then now you're only in it for 30K. You bought this asset that's worth 250 for 30 grand. Now you also do have a monthly payment. Sometimes everyone's different, but sometimes you have a monthly payment or they just roll it on the back end. It's up to the lender. Everyone's going to be different, but it's not a bad thing. And that's another way to fund your deals too. You know, like.
So you close on every deal?
Pretty much. I don't do a lot of double closes.
Right. And when do you start advertising the property? Once you own it, or?
No, so that's the fun thing. That's what I do. So what I actually like to do is I like to get a property under contract and I put my feelers out there. So I let the sellers know, like, hey, look, I'm going to go ahead and try to market a property, and it depends on the deal. If it's like a box like this deal, if it was a buy for 150, sell for 250, I'm not going to market the property because that's a great spread. I don't want to risk it. Right. But if it's like a buy for 60, sell for 90, something like that, where it's like the spread's good, like in every day, that's a good spread, but it's not like amazing. It's not like a buy for 60, sell for 120. I'm going to tell the seller, like, look, I'm going to go ahead, give me 30 days. What I'm going to go ahead and do is just market it to more people. I'm going to market around. I'm going to see if I can find the right buyer. I'm also going to look into what I could do with the property and make sure it could do something that I need to do. If it's whether it's build a house, whether it's this or that. So Sid, I need, we're going to sign a contract. It's 90-day contract. Give me like 30 days. I'm going to still push it through title and do all my, my work to get everything through whatever. And I'm hopefully going to close within 30 to 45 days, but I'm going to market the property for like 30 days. I'm going to make sure it's good. And I don't tell them the full thing, but what I do is I go ahead and I market the property. I'll list it on the MLS. I make sure title's clear, list it on the MLS, get everything ready to go. I have every right to do this. It's all in my contract, ready to go. If I get a buyer before I end up closing on it, fantastic. I'll do a double close. But if it's a deal and in 30 days, I don't get any interest at all, like zero, no clicks, nothing, or like nobody's walked through it or anything like that, I'm going to go back to the seller and say, hey, look, I can still buy the property. Unfortunately, I got to be less, or we could just part ways. I'll release the contract. You go, keep my EMD. I'll see you later. And that's that. So I do that because I've gotten burned on a couple properties. I've never lost a dime in real estate until I started doing land. And it's not land, it's because I got too cocky. I messed up and I listened to the wrong people. And I went and bought deals that I should not have. I overimproved properties when I should not have. I was trying to grasp for the highest price when I should have just booked it for 90% and sent it. But I didn't do that. So I lost money on a couple deals, and I was like, you know what? How can I change that? So that's when I started, hey, what if I pre-market properties before I buy them? And if I get no interest, then I cancel or offer a lower price, and then I can still buy it, and I have my spread, and I'm good to go. So I started doing that, and it works. Now, I don't do that for every property, but I'd say probably like 30% of them I'll do that on.
I feel like when I speak to these sellers, when I say I'm an investor, they don't hear it. They don't comprehend that I may, they think I'm going to build on it. And I try to explain to them, I don't know what I'm going to do with the property yet. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I may send it out to my investor group. I may keep it, but they just don't hear investor.
Yeah, and that's okay. So I answered that question in my letter. I said, what do you do with the land? Great question. I said, sometimes we keep it for some future conversation or family use, subdivide larger parcels into for homesteaders, build homes, sell or rent, lease to farmers, hunters, campers. We truly believe land is meant to be used and enjoyed, whatever. That's what I put in my letter. So I usually say those different things. And, I usually tell them like, hey, look, I don't really know what I'm going to do with it yet. Honestly, that's what part of my due diligence phase is figuring out what I could do with this property. Can I rent it? Can I keep it? Is it meant as a conservation property? Is it a property that I'm going to subdivide and put 2, 3, 4, 5 houses on it? Is it a property that I'm just going to put a single house on it and somebody's going to have 10 acres? I don't know. I got to look at the market, and the market's going to tell me exactly what it wants, right? So I said, that's what part of my due diligence is. It's making sure the title's clear. It's making sure there's no issues with the property. It's making sure, all these things are good. So that's why I need a little bit of time before we purchase the lot to make sure I can do something with it. And usually they're fine with that. I've never really had anybody like, nah, you can't do that. And if they do, then they're not the right fit for us.
Right.
So that's one tip I could give anybody. And I'll tell you this too. If somebody's calling you and they're like, I need you to buy this property in the next 14 days, there's probably something wrong there.
Right.
It's with the property or with their situation. Right. I almost got burned by a scammer because they pressured me to try to buy a property really fast. And I went along with it. And then at close of escrow, they would not give their name, like their ID, to the notary. And the guy's like, I can't do any documents if you don't give me your ID. And he's like, I'm not giving you my ID. And he's like, I'm not doing this. So we found out this guy was actually a scammer and he didn't own the land. So I skip traced found the actual owner, called the guy, and I said, hey, just to give you a heads up, some guy just tried to sell me your parcel. I literally got to the closing table and almost bought it from him. And he's like, are you kidding me? I said, no, I'm not kidding you. But luckily we have our checks and balances to make sure it's not, we don't get scammed and whatever. And he's like, I can't believe it, blah, blah, blah. So he had went in, he secured his property through a trust and all this stuff, whatever. But I said, hey, if you're looking to sell anything, I will buy. Anything. I was like, okay, just letting you know. But he's like, I appreciate you calling me and letting me know this happened, because that would have been terrible. It's happened before where people literally built houses on land that they don't own technically.
That's crazy. My first transaction ever was in North Carolina, and I called this attorney, and he said to me, he's like, well, I need your sellers, the people that I was buying it from, to give me their licenses and everything. And I was really inexperienced, and I said, that's fine. But he said, what he did was he took my phone number. I called him from my actual cell phone number, and he he investigated me.
Good.
And he came back to me and he's like, well, I know you live here and I know you this, and this. And I was like, whoa. He's like, I need to make sure you're legitimate. And it was just a very unusual situation. And he was a little too pain in the neck.
But sometimes you need
And it
that.
was legitimate. And then I have another situation now where she has power of attorney. It's an old guy. He's in a nursing home, and the attorney said to me, I sent him to do a title search. She said, I won't accept this. He said, I won't accept her that she's power of attorney. She's like, the guy has to sign it. Like the guy is dementia.
Yeah.
And he said no, because there was a complaint filed against this woman on a different case.
Right
And
there. Yep.
and and then a realtor called me on it, and she's like, well, do you, and I'm trying to work it out, because I do think it's a valuable property. And this is another one where it's, I get the really complicated ones. And I feel like, people they give you their problems. No one gives you the nice, easy ones. You get
Never.
the complicated ones. But so, yeah, I'm dealing with another title issue. And then, or heirs, figuring out, probate,
heirs, all that stuff. I've had properties that I had to get like 18 signatures from, and we did it, and it went through, but it was like every which way we were trying to get it done, and it took like 6 months to like finally get the contract closed, and it was like, oh my gosh. But then once you do that, that's a value maker, right? That's what we get paid to do. Like we don't get paid to do the easy ones. They come in, but our job really is not the easy ones, because if it's easy, they can go list it with the realtor and sell it tomorrow. But if it's hard, they really can't do that.
I'd like an easy one. I'm
get there. They come in.
I'm ready for an easy one. I had this other one, and the guy he sold me, he had 4 landlocked properties in New York State.
Yeah.
And I got them on the contract, and literally we were supposed to close, and I was actually double closing in New York on 3 landlocked properties. And the guy ghosted me, and he would not answer my call. And we were set to close, and I have real money exchanging, and it was a lot of money. And I called a notary, and I had a notary drive by the house to make sure the guy didn't die.
Yeah.
And then he wouldn't speak to me. He would never speak to me. But I got this attorney, so New York State attorney, who would double close, who drove to the guy's house, and actually was able to coordinate 3 double closes in one day on these properties.
Wow.
And ultimately, I mean, the guy never spoke to me, and he must have been freaked out by me, but it was all done through an attorney, and it was all legitimate. But ghosted me, would not return my call. And I sent him a certified letter.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Your notice. Yeah.
Nothing. That kicked my butt. But
yeah, got it done. That's it. I know. I got an easy one in New York. That I got the property under contract. I listed it to test the market. Within 6 hours, the neighbor called and said, "I'll buy it. I'll buy a full ask." He's like, "I've been trying to buy this property for years," and the guy never would get in contact with me or sell it. Guy lived in Arizona, and I was like, "Sure." We bought it for 65. We sold it for 125, literally in 6 hours. And I called my uncle. He lives up in Seneca Lake. The property is right on the other side of the lake. I said, "Hey, give me your attorney." So he gave me his attorney, and I called him up, and I told him, I said, "This is the deal." He goes, "Yeah, no problem. We'll push it through. Boom, done."
Yeah.
And that was it. And it was actually really easy. They're going to be coming through. They do happen.
Yeah,
you get a lot of hard ones for a couple easy ones.
No, I actually, another one again with all these landlocked neighbors wanted it. Same type of thing. Hunting grounds.
Yep.
Especially in upstate New York, they want those hunting grounds.
Yep.
So I've become an expert on hunting grounds in New York.
I mean, maybe it's your calling.
Yeah. If you knew me, you would know it's definitely not my calling. But they, the hunters call me. I know about all different types of hunting now, and lodges and all different things.
Yeah, and you're like, "Please don't kill any animals on my well." I know it's hard, but it's like, yeah, you got to separate the two.
Hey, whatever sells, I'll sell it. But
that's it. I mean, that's great. Honestly, there is such a huge hidden niche of just doing landlocked properties, and nobody wants to touch it because they're like worried about it. But like, I bought a property that was landlocked. It looked landlocked, and all it needed was updating the easement. So I updated the easement. It cost me, I think, $5,000 to get the survey done like quickly. And they updated. I'm sorry, it was like way off. It was like, because I didn't, it was $1,500. They wanted $7 to do the whole thing. I said, I just need the easement. So they just updated the easement for me. $1,500 later, I bought the property for $156. I sold it for $365.
Wow.
Like crazy. All I did was just update
the easement.
That's it. Record it. Done. Made it out.
How did you even know that that's what needed to be done?
Because I looked at the property and I'm like, there's value here in this property. And I was like looking around. Then I started reading the deed and stuff like that. So I'll pull a deed search and I look at it. I looked at the deed and it said easement, whatever. And I'm like, huh. And then it showed me a reference to another deeding page. So I pulled that, went down, I downloaded that deeding page, looked at that. And then it said easement for X, Y, and Z. I said, no way. It's got a freaking easement. Looked it up. And then I took all the deeds. I grabbed every deed around all this, that touched this property and its easement, grabbed them all, threw it into chat. And I said, hey, review all these docs. Tell me every reference that references the deed at the easement for this property specifically. And I found that it said it's in this one and this one. Here's your 2 reference points. And then I looked at the surveyor. They just surveyed the property that the easement runs through like 3 years ago. So I called the surveyor that did that. And I said, hey, quick question. I said, you just surveyed this property like 2-3 years ago, whatever. This one here is like, oh yeah, I remember that one. I was like, was there an easement at the bottom? He's like, yeah, there's an easement for the back property. I said, okay. I said, did you survey that? And he's like, I went around it. I didn't do the actual survey, like the easement survey. I just marked it on my drawings for that one. I was like, okay. I said, can I hire you to come do the easement survey? He's like, absolutely. So I said, I just need the easement, whatever. And hired him. He did it. And that was it. We closed. So like there is a ton of value in doing that. And then also there's a ton of value in suing for easements, which is another whole thing. Here you go, shiny objects, not trying to give you any, but I'm just telling you, like, there's so much money to be made in that stuff and nobody looks at it. And if you
Nobody looks at it.
Everybody scrubs it out. Nobody's marketing to these people.
Again, in my prior life before, I guess, Land Insights, somehow I just ended up with a lot of the landlocks, and I had success with them. And now I'm scrubbing them out, but I'm not really afraid of them because I have had success and I do understand the value. But just really briefly, just tell me what you do with ChatGPT and putting the deeds in. That's really cool.
I have every like chat reads all my deeds and everything like that.
Really?
Every single one. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll pull every deed. I even pull all the like title reports. I'll grab everything and I say, hey, review this. Tell me whatever. Tell me the last transfer. Tell me everything. And it does. It tells you everything. And then I'll grab the next one, like at the next in line. It almost could do a title search for you, essentially. And it'll give you like the whole, like this person bought from this person bought from this person. So I'll pull all the deeds for a specific property sometimes. Depends. Not all the time. I'll pull all the deeds for the last 50 years plus one transaction, just like they do on a title report. And then I'll throw it into chat and just say, hey, break this whole thing down for me. Tell me how the chain of title went from whatever it was up until today. And it'll tell you, all right, X, Y, and Z bought it and sold it to X, Y, and Z. Then they sold it to this person. They sold it to this person. Okay, great. So who's on title? Okay, right now it's this person. That's the person I'm talking to. Fantastic. And then I'll ask it like questions. Any deed restrictions? Anything I'm missing? Was there ever an easement? Anything like that? And it'll review all those different deeds. And it'll tell me, no. We actually found a deed restriction on the property we're going to buy that was recorded in 1970, but never followed through on the other properties. But the deed restriction was still in place. It was a conservation easement that didn't allow you to cut or take down any trees, right? So when I told the seller this, and it was still in place, when I told the seller this, they were like, you got to be kidding me. And I'm like, no. I said, this is the person. They were like, that was my great-grandfather or whatever. And I'm like, no way. And they're like, yeah, he sold the conservation easement to somebody else. I forget what it was exactly, but they're like, you got to be kidding me. So I'm like, unfortunately, like we can't develop the property or do anything because of this conservation easement. So it's strictly a hunting property, and hunting land in this market is only worth $2,000 an acre or something like that. So I ended up buying it for a major discount because of that. Because they're like, I can't do anything with it. I'm like, you can't. So
Can you put in somewhere the questions that you asked ChatGPT in terms of evaluating a title search? I'd love to know what some of the prompts are.
I don't have specific prompts. I usually
Or
just
would you say, like, tell me?
Yeah, I just say break this down. Like if I say pretend you're a title abstractor and you're running a chain of title on this deed, tell me, is there any easements, any restrictions, any deed restrictions, anything I should be concerned about if I were to buy this property to own it and develop it? And they'll go through and look at everything.
That's incredible. And so you do how far back do you go?
Typically I like to do 50 years plus one transaction. That's like typically what a title report does is 30 years plus one or 50 years plus one. So I'll go back 50 years plus one, right? Now, granted,
you'll download the deed. You'll download 50 years worth.
If I have access to them, yeah.
And then you stick it in ChatGPT.
Yep. I have a guy that does title abstracts for me. $5 or $25. You could hire somebody. Hey, go pull the title for this property. He goes and pulls it. It's like a prelim title. I'll take all that stuff. He gives me a title report, but then I dump it into chat and I say, run this. Tell me what's going on here. And it'll look at everything. Is it always right? No, it's like 90%. Close enough, right?
That's cool.
Not any issues. And then from there, then I could, any issues that come up, then I'm like, okay, good. Now I can handle them. Now I have something, whatever. So like this property that you have, totally perfect. Go pull the deeds from Rutherfordton, drop them at the chat. Tell me the chain of title in this. When did this thing get transferred into their trust? Tell me what's going on here. I'm seeing only, I'm seeing 3 parcels. Is it 3? Is it 2? Is it 1? Whatever. And it could look everything up. It won't like look up certain things, but if you give it the information, it'll be able to read it.
That's so cool.
Yeah. See, that's the powerful thing with AI. It's not about like answering the phones and stuff like that. That stuff right there.
I'm gonna absolutely try that and see how that works, because that's a golden nugget. That's great.
It helps me so much. Honestly, I use it all the time. I use it for all my businesses now. It's like addicting.
I have ChatGPT do a million things for me, but I didn't think of doing that.
Yeah, that's a great one. I do that all the time. What I do is I'll create a like a project. So I create a project, not just a regular chat. If you create a project, you could upload files to it. Like if you create a file for it and say like, hey, this is the stuff that we want to run through on a title report. So I'm going to upload it. And then every time you say like add a new parcel. So here, let me show you on my, like I show you on my cleaning business, right? So,
well, I know chat at this point remembers me and it knows me.
So it does. So if you do this, like if you just do that one thing, right? So if I just go clean sweeps, whatever. So this is a project I have, and these are all the different things I've asked it and done with it, right? So it remembers everything. But what I could do is I could upload project files. So I could add files here that are saved specifically just for this project. And then I could also say like add instructions, tailor how you want me to respond. So I could add like what I do here is on my land side one. I'll add like specific things like here's my list of sellers. Here's my list of leads. Here's my list of this. Here's my list of whatever. I add it here and it saves it. So when I run it to recall something, say, hey, that seller over here, this is the parcel number. Or, hey, this seller, Mike, find him, whatever. It pulls up all of his information. Okay, what did his title report say? It'll pull it all up. Okay, great. Hey, download everything for me. I'm going to send that to an agent, or I'm going to send it to a whoever, right? Okay, great. Here, throws it all on a doc. Now I send the full title report. So I'll do like all that background stuff. I'll send it to my attorney. She's like, hey, this is all the stuff I had background pulled. I already checked everything out. Everything looks clear. Can you just reconfirm it with me? And they'll go and they'll do like a quick title search, reconfirm everything's good. All right, good. We could close anytime you want.
And when do you pull title? When do you do that search before you get it under contract?
I do a preliminary title search the second I get it under contract. right? I don't really go about, it depends on if it looks sketchy or they said they have probate or all that stuff. I have no problem doing a prelim search. It's $25 if I lose
Right.
$5, whatever. It's really the big thing. Like, if I'm going to list it as a DC, like I want to get a full title search done.
So do you have somebody who does a preliminary title search for you?
Yeah, you can find them on Fiverr. Yeah, or like Parcel Detectives is another company that does it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're $35 a person, a report.
And that's just a prelim.
Yeah,
Okay.
just a prelim. I wouldn't close under it, never. But I mean,
Right.
technically, it's good enough to self close if you wanted to. But I would not. I would still do a full report. The benefit of it is when you start working with a new title company and you send them all the information, and all they do have to do is like re-verify it. They're like, okay, this has made my job easier. I could go have a cup of coffee and relax for a few minutes. They love you. So, and then when you round that up by sending them a box of cookies afterwards, they're like, I love this person. I'm going to work with them all the time.
I love the cookies. The cookies
Yep.
are great.
Cookies rock.
Cookies rock.
So
Anyway.
yeah, I got to run. I got to go.
Yep,
On
I
walk through,
appreciate it so much. It was extremely helpful. So thank you. Thank you.
Anytime you want to book one, just grab one.
I may do
Might
it
as
again.
well.
It was great. It was
Yeah,
very
might as
helpful. This is the best call.
Good. I love it.
Thank you.
And you were nervous. Why?
I was nervous. I'm still nervous, but
It's
I
all
appreciate
good.
it.
All good.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
glad I was helpful. I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, I think you're good in that parcel. I would just double check with an agent. It doesn't hurt to get 1 or 2 or 3 quotes and just be like, hey, real quick, what do you think this is worth? I don't want to waste your time. And, I'm back and forth with the seller, but you think it's worth this? Make sure it's somebody you can trust.
Yep.
That's it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Good
Take
luck.
care. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Cheryl. See you later.